Was it truly blessed and the taste of it poison deeper than you know? Kindly answer this. Was the point of it just to reach new heights of blue? So I'm pulling the anchor and drifting away, blinded by reason beyond disarray. It's what fire cannot burn. It's what fire cannot burn. Wanted to embrace what it takes for it, pouring salt into the world, willing to erase what I'd lose for it, to accept what I assume. So I'm pulling the anchor and drifting away, blinded by reason beyond disarray. It's what fire cannot burn. It's what fire cannot searching for something, dancing for nothing, losing devotion over and over. Truly blessed is the taste of it, poison deeper than you know. Kindly answer this. Was the point of it just to reach new heights of love? So I'm pulling the anchor and drifting away, blinded by reason beyond disarray. It's what fire cannot burn. It's what fire cannot It's what fire cannot burn. It's what fire cannot burn.
All right, we're going to take you out of all that. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a brand new episode of The Yo Show, live here Wednesday night. Let me get this NHL banner out of my face. So I'll know what night it is. We'll take that down. All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of The Yo Show. I know I'm dressed like it's wintertime, right? Got my Flyers jersey on, my Flyers gloves, my Flyers hat. The Stanley Cup is here. Gritty's here, the whole 9 yards. Flyers logo on the back, Ron Hextall jersey. I got it all. And why? Because tonight is our NHL preview show right here on the Yo Show. We got a tremendous guest, our hockey expert, Mark Zimmaro from the South Philly Review and the Northeast Times is our very special guest. Tonight around 8:30, we're going to talk NHL hockey. Remember Mark last season? Predicted St. Louis Blues would win the Stanley Cup, and how about that? They did. Amazing. So we're just that happy we decided to invite him back. Jeff the Shark Prinny, Jewel Tatey running a little behind. She will be here. A little bit of technical difficulty, a little computer upload. So we will have Jewel with us shortly. James Costa and Jason Osada. What is up, fellas? Good evening. Mark's going to be here around 8:30. Thanks for coming by. Get to hear Mark's great predictions. Mr. Hockey, he did it last year with St. Louis, so we're pretty pumped up. Want to show everybody while we're here, the usual. I cracked it out again tonight. The Stanley Cup beer stein is out as well. Dude, I'm like hockey now. I am geeked up. I cannot wait. COVID, you've been beaten by the best sport in the world. Very exciting. All right, take some sips. I'm going to take this hat off real quick because it is hot as balls down here in the basement from hell. The studio, as we like to call it. But thanks, everybody, for coming by. Big thanks to last week's guest on the show, Adam and Park, a couple of tremendous local artists, male-female group. Adam and Park talked about their music and what they got going on and how they've been coping through COVID. Great show. The listens just keep going up and up and up, so we thank everybody for checking that out as well. Just great. It's what we do here on the Yo Show. We got a guest announcement for next week coming later tonight. We got a little surprise for Jewel if she shows up. Something great I scored for her that she's going to love. We're going to look at Jeff's Man Cave scores. We're going to talk about beer. We got all kind of topics, stuff that is going on in the world. So settle in. And like I said, at 8:30 tonight, we're going to be joined by Mark, and we're going to get his insights on the NHL season. We're going to ask him what he thinks about the Philadelphia Flyers, everybody. Better be good. Hate to kick him off the show. Episode 110 on the Yo Show. Thrilled to have Mark. We got a top 5 list, brand new top 5 list. It's going to be coming up shortly. It is our top 5 all-time favorite Philadelphia Flyers, in case you haven't noticed. Funny thing, back in the day when I first got into the show, when it was the Stoop Radio Network with John, we were a New York station. That's right. I actually dealt with that. We actually dealt with New York stuff. And everything was Rangers this and Rangers that. And he was the former host of Ranger Nation and the whole 9 yards. So now that he's gone, I finally get to kiss Philly ass here. I love kissing Philly ass. So we do. Philly's my town. Mark's a Philly guy. Next week we got Philly people. We've had Philly people on all week, all last few weeks, last month, whatever. So we're excited for that. Still waiting on Jewel Tatey. In the meanwhile, let me talk to everybody about the opening song. It is What Fire Cannot Burn. The band is St. Ricketts. You can check them out at www.strricketts.com. Mark says, hello, Mark. Your gang is waiting for you. And like I said, 8:30 is going to come on and make me look stupid about hockey, which, it's his thing. He laughs when I call him hockey expert, but he is, in fact, the expert. He's the guru. He's Mr. Hockey. He's the hockey what DiMaggio was to coffee. Good stuff. So anyway, What Fire Cannot Burn, St. Ricketts. New songs coming out from St. Ricketts, folks. 8 to 9 new tracks the guys reported. They're just waiting for COVID to get over so they can release this brand new album. I can't wait because I'm a huge St. Ricketts fan. I love the guys over there. If you're watching, they usually tune in. What's up, guys? We're ready. Is that steam on my glasses? Yeah, it is just that hot that I'm actually steaming over my glasses. But without them, we got no show because I can't read a damn thing I wrote. It's unscripted to a point. I think Jewel Tatey got scared off by the hockey stuff tonight. Jewel's our music expert, our entertainment expert. She's hip with the young kids, but sports may not be her thing. So I just want Jewel to know that Gritty is here. Gritty's in the house. One of my many Funko Pops, one of my favorite collections of all time. So anyway, let's do this real quick. Let's do a promo before Jewel gets here. And it's something very dear to me, and it takes place this Friday night at the Newtown Athletic Club in Newtown, Pennsylvania. Excuse me. I'm going to give it to you right here, the whole roundup. It is the Loso Brewing Company, and they're joining up with the Kirko Band, Kevin and Scott Kirk, this Friday night for a very special Loso beer night. That's right, Loso Brewing, of course, one of the sponsors of the show, www.losobrewingcompany.com, and they will have 4 of their great beers at the Newtown Athletic Club for you to try out. The Hazy Dragon, a 6% New England IPA, will be on tap, as well as samples of Lola, Watermelon Wheat, and Sword and Stone. It's just going to be a great night. And as I said, the Kirko Band is there. Let me show you some of these excellent photos. There's Hazy Dragon. There's Lola, some of the great artwork. There's Sword and Stone. All the beers are going to be available. And, of course, there's Woodland West Watermelon Wheat. I want to say that 5 times fast. So that is this Friday night. Starts at 7, runs until about 11 o'clock. 120 Pheasant Run in Newtown, PA. It is the Newtown Athletic Club. It is a Loso and Kirko takeover. There's going to be some great free merchandise given away. There's also going to be a T-shirt contest. We give away some great Loso T-shirts. We have about 10 to 20 to bring. There's a little trivia. Have you enter some trivia and win some great prizes courtesy of Loso Brewing Company. Again, www.losobrewingcompany.com. LosoBrewingCompany.com this Friday night, Newtown Athletic Club. Figured I'd get that out of the way before Jewel gets here. We'll do it later after Jewel gets here. So hide that for now, and of course we'll announce our guest. Your name and letters, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Zimmaro from South River Reviews, Northeast Times. Also was formerly from the Burlington County Times. Mark is an excellent reporter, terrific hockey guy, great poker player. I won't say great poker player because we all remember who won the overall championship at the end there, the final table. But Mark did a great job there. We'll talk about that a little bit as well when he comes on. That is at 8:30. So Jewel Tatey, being late, I'm going to bring to you the top 5 list. Top 5 tonight. Top 5 all-time favorite Flyers. Actually, it's so great. There's actually a tie for 5th. I actually have 6. And one of them is going to give me some heat. That's what we do here on the O Show. I just say it like I feel, man. That's what it's all about. So top 5 list. Let's start out at number 5. We have a tie at number 5. The Hammer, Dave Schultz. One of the toughest dudes ever in NHL, a big member of the Broad Street Bullies and 2-time Stanley Cup winner, the Hammer, Dave Schultz, tied with the great Pelly Lindbergh. God, I remember being in the kitchen of my parents' house. My brother had called, and he kept saying, Pelly, and I'm like, yeah, what about Pelly? And he kept saying, he's dead. I went to the TV, and there was Pelly Lindbergh going way too soon. A fantastic Flyer goalie. Loved him. Tied at number 5, the late Pelly Lindbergh. Number 4 is a newer guy, but I love this guy. Mark knows I love this guy. And last time Mark was on, we did our top 5 up-and-coming Philly athletes. He was on the list as well. He's number 4 on my Flyers list. It's Ivan Provorov. I just love the way this kid plays the game, and I just have a great feeling that Provorov is going to be just one of those guys who will be perhaps one of the all-time best Flyer defensemen. There's a lot of guys out there, the Mark Howes and of the world, but I think Provorov really has what it takes to be a very special player. He is on the list at number 4. Number 3, don't throw rocks, don't throw debris. It is Claude Giroux. I know Claude gets a lot of heat. He's the captain. He limits the fire. He does have fire sometimes. He needs to be fiery more times. But I like it. I like my captain. I like Claude. Still a very highly skilled player. He is number 3 on my all-time Flyers list. Number 2 and number 1 are easy. Number 2, of course, this guy in the background. He's got his autograph on that bad boy as well. Ron Hextall. That jersey, ladies and gentlemen, was purchased in 1987. Hextall's Rookie of the Year. He took us to the Stanley Cup, in which we lost in 7 games to, I don't know, some guy named Wayne Gretzky and the Edmonton Oilers. Have you ever heard of him? Yeah, so that's pretty good company. But Ron was my man. He autographed that. He sat with me at a card show. We sat and shot the breeze. Love the dude, man. My second all-time favorite Flyer. Number 1, it is the Big E. It is Eric Lindros. Eric was and always will be my favorite Flyer. Just wish the dude didn't have the injuries and want to see what a full career could have been. Broke my heart when he traded him, even though they kind of had to. The time was up. But I loved Eric. I love those teams for that year, Leclerc's and Renberg's, the Leeds and the Doom, the whole 9 yards. Some great years. Just a shame those guys never got to come home with one of these bad boys. That kind of hurts. But, that's why they play the games. But that is my top 5 list. I'm going to run it down again for you real quickly. For those who may have missed it, number 5 is a tie between Dave the Hammer Schultz and Pelly Lindbergh. Number 4, Ivan Provorov. Number 3, our current captain, Claude Giroux. Number 2, Ron Hextall. And number 1, Eric Lindros. That is my top 5.5. Tie, number 6. Flyers. So, yes, that's where we're at. We got a good audience so far. A lot of people coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, not a moment too soon. Co-hostess with the mostest, the sister from another mister, the heartbreaker, the absolutely gorgeous hockey fan herself, Miss G.
Hey. Yo.
Hey, you got me on some kind of device that I was picking. Right.
How are you doing? I'm on my phone. This is horrible. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it is pretty horrible. We're going to hear me kicking back.
How are we doing?
We're doing terrific. We're happy to be here.
You can hear yourself?
I can hear myself through yours unbelievably.
All right. It's just going to take me a minute. I'll be right in. My number one is Hextall. That's all I got. I'll be back.
Hey, number one is Hextall. No Scott, she will be back. All right. We're good. She looks lovely tonight, Jewel Tatey. I'll tell you what, we normally don't do this, but I guess this guy popped on. He's like, my God, Jewel's not coming on. Jeff is struggling. Let me get backstage and show my face so we can bring him on nice and early. We could talk hockey all night, right? Mark, I got this for you, buddy. We're going to bring him on, ladies and gentlemen, from the South Philly Review and the Northeast Times, formerly of the Burlington County Times, the man who predicted the St. Louis Blues Stanley Cup victory last year, our favorite hockey guru, Mr. Mark Zimmaro. All right, Mark.
How's it going, Jeff?
It's going great, man. Thanks for being on. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, great top five there. I got to ask you, though, how come, you go Broad Street Bullies era, so you go Schultz, but no Clark?
I do not go Clark. I have a resentment towards the Bobby Clark general manager days that makes me not put him on my list.
Okay. Yeah, because I wouldn't have him on my top five because I'm a little too young. I didn't really get to see him play and appreciate all that stuff. But then I was like, wait a minute, you put Schultz on there. So I figured there was something.
I've got a lot of friends of mine that watch the show that are into still the old throwback violent hockey days. So I got to put Schultz in there, or else I get a lot of debris.
Yeah, it makes sense. I love the list otherwise. Only guy I would have had on there is Brian Prop. He was just one of my favorites. And it all goes back basically to being a little kid and writing to the Flyers, trying to get autographs. And you'd always get like a 5x7 or something that was, a screen printed autograph on it or something, whatever. Brian Prop actually wrote like to Mark Gaffa.
Wow. All right.
So it made him my favorite player. And I actually met him not too long ago. As many people know, he actually had a stroke.
Yes.
Recovered from that. He's doing great and doing some great things out there. And he was just a pleasure to talk to.
That's awesome. And I actually got a funny story real quick. Well, first of all, say hello to Mike Solomon. He's in the house. He said you were Mark. What's up, Michael? Thanks for joining us tonight, man. Before I asked you to do the hockey thing last season, I actually reached out to Prop, and he said, my health isn't good. He's like, I would be thrilled to do it. Let me recover, maybe next year. And I'm like, great, now I'm stuck. And I'm like, wait a minute. Mark's like Mr. Hockey. So the job is now. I didn't even ask Prop this year. That's how high you are on the list.
I would have got Prop.
Anyway, man, there's no better way to do it. Like I said, he came up great for us last year. Great predictions. You nailed it. And pretty excited. I got a few people. I know I mentioned to you earlier today. And if those guys are out there watching, we're going to talk to more. A couple of guys want to have you maybe on their sports network to do hockey reviews also. So look at that, man. You're good.
Would love to do it, man. It's just great to have the sport back. I mean, it feels like one of those like lockout years or something. The length of this pause has been so long. It's actually longer than an off season. So I mean, it was just great to have them back on TV yesterday, and got to watch some actual hockey, even though it was weird with no fans and things like that. But I mean. You know what? My wife Jill pointed it out. She's like, it almost seems like you're watching like a Winter Classic game. How like the fans are far away and like they pump in the crowd noise, so you never see the fans unless they pan away. But it kind of had that same feel to it. And I don't know how it is to actually play. Well, I do know how it is to play because I play hockey and no one comes to watch us. But for those guys that are used to having thousands of people watching them, that has to be a weird thing.
I hear you. Yeah, that makes sense. Tracy Collado says, what's up, Yo Show? Tracy, this is Lynn's brother, Mark. I know you know Lynn very well. This is her brother, Mark. He is the hockey guru. We bring him on to do hockey previews. Mark, I got to do it before we even get started. You got to show the audience what you got going on behind you because it's a great wall of jerseys. Give everybody a little taste of what we got going on.
I will not be predicting any of these teams to win the Stanley Cup this year because none of them exist anymore. I'm going to do this backwards here. So we got the old Winnipeg Jets, who later became the Arizona Coyotes. Then we got the Oakland Seals here, the Minnesota North Stars, the Quebec Nordiques. It's all backwards on me, so I'm messing this up. And the Colorado Rockies are the white jersey there, and then the Hartford Whalers, of course. Everybody knows the Whalers. So just went with a few of those. I was going to squeeze an Atlanta Thrashers jersey in there, but they're not like old school enough to really appreciate it. They were there for a few years.
That's pretty cool. My jerseys last year when you were on, I wore my Vancouver Canucks. This year, I mean, I got the Connect Me on, man. I'm going strong. I'm pumped. I mean, Dave my man Dave Kerbeck, big hockey fan as well, former guy that lived here. Now he's in California. It's not like who you're rooting for out there. But he likes the Hartford Whaler jersey. I'm digging it. Love me some Hartford Whaler. Yeah, man, great stuff. The antiques are great, and that's another reason why I love having you here. I mean, you set it up perfect. That's awesome.
Antiques are great too, but I also love the new stuff. I do have a Golden Knights jersey somewhere, and I cannot wait to get one of these Kraken jerseys.
Yes. We were at it's one of the questions on the list. So let's hit it now. Tell us a little bit about Seattle, the Kraken. The emblem is awesome. The team name is cool. The city worries me about is going to be a hockey town, but I guess if Vegas is winning it over, they can too. Tell us a little something about Seattle and how they became an NHL squad.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Vegas was a great success story. Obviously, having team success leads into that. But, you know, me and my friends went out there when the Flyers first went to Vegas. And so that was halfway through the season. So no one knew they were going to make it to the Cup Finals. And it was just such a great atmosphere for a game. Like they really grabbed hold of that team, that city, and they love it there. And, you know, it's a nice little production they put on ahead of time with the Knight fighting somebody, you know, representing the other team. And it's just a really fun place to go see a game. And they've continued to have that success, you know, a few years down the line. Getting to Seattle, like you're talking about, I was a little worried when I heard that they had to pay $650 million for a franchise.
Yeah.
Especially when Vegas was $500,000, you know, the discount price just a few years ago. But everybody is predicting that Seattle they do have a strong ownership group. They're projecting them to be one of the top 10 revenue teams in the league once they get going. So they're going to be up there with, you know, maybe not a Toronto Maple Leafs, but, you know, somewhere where the Flyers draw, and they're expecting to keep that success there. So, I mean, I hope it works. You can't go by the past. They had a team there 100 years ago. Things were much different. But you know, it's a crazy sports town. It's built up a lot more since the last time they had hockey, and I think they are going to do well.
It's great. I don't know if you know much about it. You usually do, so I hit you with the question anyway. With the COVID thing and the shutdown and all that, and salaries being weird, how's it going to affect the expansion draft? Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, that's actually something I wrote about last week, and I think because the salary cap is going to remain flat for the near future, they're projecting because of all the lost revenue from this year, the salary cap is going to be the Kraken's best friend. I mean, they are going to be able to utilize their cap space, which no one else has or is projected to have for a long time. So they're going to get a lot of these sweetener deals where they may they're not going to take a horrible contract, but they'll take one that's hurting a team that still has some use, but they're going to really cash in by gaining assets while doing that. They're going to get first round draft picks. They're going to get prospects, much like Vegas did. And everybody was like, oh, we saw what these guys did. We're not going to do that again, but now they're kind of forced to. And the Flyers could be one of those teams that may have to go to the trade lines there to relieve some of the cap space, because they have a lot of guys under contract for a long time under heavy contracts. I got a lot of guys coming up soon, like Carter Hart. You know, he's gonna make bank. He's the goalie. He's done nothing to take that away from himself, and we knock on wood that's going to continue. But there's other guys that are going to get raises too. I mean, even guys like Scott Lawton that have made just, you know, minimal contracts or maybe a million. He's really proved that he deserves more. There's Sean Couturier is another bomb that's going to hit in a couple of years. He's only making $4 million right now, so he should be making 8 or 9. You know, give me a call if you want me to be your agent. But you know, he's been in the Selke conversation. He's a finalist this year. That's really going to boost his value, and people around the league know what he's worth now, and he's going to use that as a bargaining chip. So the Flyers are going to have to probably give up some assets for a team to take a contract off them in the near future.
It figures like we're finally starting to put something together through all these years. A team that looks consistent. They were red hot before the shutdown, and now all this. And it's amazing because I'll go on Facebook and I'll look and I'll see a hockey article, and I'll click it, and it's yours. And it's even before I know it's yours, and that's awesome. But some of the names, like somebody mentioned Van Riemsdyk, talking about Couturier. Is Van Riemsdyk a guy that you think is expendable out of all this?
Well, it depends. I mean, we're looking at a couple years down the line. Well, I mean, 2 seasons technically down the line, but this draft happens like next summer. But you know, 2 Stanley Cups will be awarded since then. So at that point, Van Riemsdyk will only have 1 or 2 years left on his deal. He was only a 5-year deal. So we'll have to see how he's performing at that point. But yeah, he could fall into that category because a team like Seattle could they could be looking at it like, we'll bite the bullet for these couple years, no problem, and take on something like that rather than go after a contract like Voracek, who might be a better player, but at a longer contract. And you just gotta, you don't want to be held down with those contracts for more than a few years. Yeah. So Van Riemsdyk could be a guy. Shane Gostisbehere could be a guy. He received a lot of praise yesterday, at least from the analysts doing the game, saying that he's having a great camp. He just had a knee surgery. He does appear to look a little bit better. Still some questionable pinching he did in that game, but overall, I like the confidence he was playing with. So, I mean, if it continues the same way with Gostisbehere and he's only your 6th or 7th defenseman, that $4 million cap hit kills you at that point. If he's your top power play guy and he's playing a top 4 role, then it's not. It's a great contract. So it all depends on how he performs and how he slots in on whether that might be a guy that they try to get rid of.
Makes sense. And they went from a team that seemed to have a great promise of young defensemen to a team that is suddenly scrambling for that last defenseman. Of course, like injuries to guys like Morin, and that's like a big loss. And they're bringing guys up, and guys like Haig, etc. They bring them in. They just don't seem to be cutting the mustard. Are there any guys that are on the fringe, like a guy that possibly is successful that you think gets exposed to this draft?
I don't know about exposed to the draft, but a guy that they're looking at right now is if you watched yesterday, this is Zamula. He looks really smooth. I don't know a whole lot about the guy. I haven't really tuned in on the prospects. I mean, I took a mental break from hockey as much as everybody else did during this break, so I didn't follow too much up with that. But he looks really good. You got some guys in the AHL like Mark Friedman that does come up in a pinch and looks pretty good, plays with a little bit of snarl. So, I mean, I think their back end is solidified for now, but they have some decisions to make with guys like Justin Braun and in a couple of years, Matt Niskanen, who will actually be a free agent at the same time that expansion draft comes around. So you don't know what they're going to do with a guy like Niskanen. If they do re-sign him, maybe they can kind of make a handshake deal and say, we're not going to sign you until that expansion draft, because they're not going to take an unrestricted free agent because they could lose him just that easily. So, I mean, it all depends how things go. I mean, you win a Stanley Cup in the next couple of years, people are a little bit more loyal. They may want to come back here and see how great this city is when you win. Because, Bernie Perrant's still out there living off of that. And he's still the mayor of the town because he goes everywhere and everybody loves him because he won a Stanley Cup here. Two of them. I
mean, the name I got to drop, not hockey related, but Nick Foles. I mean, the guy is he's never done anything but here, but he's God in this town, and he will be forever. He'll never pay for another beer in this town. Kevin Michael Kirk, what is up, Kevin? Good to see you, man. Kevin is performing with us at the Newtown Athletic Club Friday. Kevin, of course, is neighbors with your sister Lynn over there in Woodland West. It's good, dude.
I've heard them play at the block parties.
Right, yeah. Excellent stuff. Let's go a little more around the league, and I want to introduce the ideas and the premise of how COVID is working. For the people who don't know, explain to them what the NHL has done with COVID. I think it's brilliant, especially after watching what happened to baseball. Give us a little rundown, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. It was one of those plans that I almost didn't think it was going to work because they're demanding so much of their players. I mean, they're asking these guys to live in basically a bubble, as they're calling it, which is, the arena and some attached hotels right there. So they're really not getting to go around to the outside world. They can't go to restaurants, anything like that. They can't bring their family.
Strip clubs.
We've heard that in some other sports, right?
Yeah.
So, these guys are away from their families. And, you look at a guy like Sean Couturier, who just had a kid like last week, and now he has to go and be away for what we hope is a couple of months. And, these guys don't know. It could be a couple of weeks, could be a couple months. I don't know how they pack to prepare for something like that, to be honest. But I guess it's just a lot of laundry or something.
Yeah. But, they've got guys to do that for them out there, though.
Right. But, the NHL asked these guys, the players signed off on it along with a new collective bargaining agreement, which I'm sure we could talk about later. But they're asking these guys to be away from it all, and it's working. because they just tested everybody just a few days ago before everybody went to the bubble. They tested, 600 people or so. That includes coaches, any staff that's going, anybody that's going to be inside this bubble. And they had 0 positive cases.
That's awesome.
Which is, it's great. I didn't think it was going to be that good. I thought there'd be a couple that they'd have to deal with. And there's always a possibility of something getting in, but it looks like they're really taking every single precaution to stay ahead of this and make sure this works. Because as you alluded to in baseball, you could see how this could go down the wrong street really, really fast.
Yes, absolutely. They, it came out today that the Marlins were actually partying in Atlanta before they got on the plane here. So again, you got to say that the bubble, the shutdown seems to be brilliant. And I got to throw it out to you. Can you believe Gary Bettman is coming up with a winning plan?
He did it. I mean, kudos to Bettman, who is, of course, not well liked among most hockey fans. He gets booed at every time a team lifts the Stanley Cup. But, for them to come up with this plan, for them to not even so much hold the players over the hot coals to get it done, they agreed to it, and it seems like there's some things working. And they hammered out a new collective bargaining agreement that's going to last until 2026. So for the first time under the Bettman era, which goes back to the early 90s, there's a no work stoppage when a collective bargaining agreement was about to expire. So that's fantastic news for hockey fans. The players get a lot out of it too. I mean, obviously there's some financial stuff that's still, not great situations with the escrow and everything like that, but a lot of it was COVID related. But at least as long as they can reach an agreement with the International Olympic Committee, we're going to see NHLers in the Olympics the next 2 times too, which is awesome as well. And that's something the players really want.
I love it. I always got into the basketball thing. It's a little different. I mean, there's a dominance in the U.S. and it's been present. Hockey's a little different. It's wide open. I fall in love with it at the Olympics. I actually get a little more into it than the regular season. It's actually a nice cut from the season, and I enjoy it thoroughly. So I'm looking forward to that. That would be great to have again.
And the U.S. is going to be good. I mean, you start looking at some of the guys that are, American-born players now, and you have Austin Matthews, Jack Eichel, Patrick Kane. I mean, you got some real good studs on this team now. And they always have the good defense. They got guys like Seth Jones and John Carlson. And, I could run down a list, but they're going to be really good. Johnny Gaudreau, the local guy from around here, there's going to be some great players and some really fun guys to watch. And a lot of young guys too, like Jack Hughes, who was just the #1 pick last year. He's American born. So you're expecting some of those guys to be at that level by the time the Olympics roll around. So it's going to be fun. The U.S. is going to be a team to cheer for.
Sounds good. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Mike Solomon dropped in. He said, with the hub cities being in Toronto and Edmonton, how's it going to work for the Stanley Cup Final Series? It's actually a great question. What if one of those teams, they're both pretty decent teams with an outside chance?
They both could make it there. What they're going to do is for the conference finals and the Stanley Cup, I believe they're going to shift everything over to Edmonton. So once they get down to 4 teams, everything goes there. So, Toronto would obviously no longer be a hub city, but that's actually one of the neat things I wanted to talk about was Toronto is known as one of those, heavy media hockey capital of the world, as they call it. Them and Montreal are probably the 2 hardest places to play as players. Sure. And they're not allowing much outside media into the bubble. It's just a bunch of NHL.com writers, and they're not going to be scrutinized over every little thing that's happening. So it's going to be interesting to see how some of these Canadian teams play during these playoffs, because they're not going to have that crazy media attention. They're really living in a bubble. So it's neat.
Yeah, they definitely need that. We're Americans. We're Philly Flyer fans, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
Gritty's in the house. My Funko Pop Gritty is here. So, but wouldn't it be nice to see a Canadian team make a run? Are Canadian teams making the turn?
Absolutely. I would not like to see that. I think it is so funny to see them struggle year after year. No Canadian team has won the Cup since 1993, and that is amazing.
That's unbelievable.
But no, I do have a soft spot for a few teams. I mean, Toronto would probably be unbearable if they won it. But some of these other teams, like a Vancouver, who's an up-and-coming team, like maybe not so much this year, but it'd be fun to see them win because they're going to have a real talented team. Edmonton, I love watching Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, but you brought it up earlier, man. They beat the Flyers all those years ago, and they had that dynasty for so long that it's like you don't deserve it yet. You won 5 cups in like 8 years. You still got a ways to go before we're back to rooting for the Oilers again.
Absolutely. My good friend Christian Rupert brought up a question. It was one of my questions, but he asked, so I'll lay it on you now because it's a great question. How do you think Carter Hart's going to fare in the playoffs, and how far do they go with Carter Hart? Does he have the mental makeup? Is he ready as a goalie? Are the injuries healed? What's the story with Carter Hart? How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I think physically, I think he's there. He's one of those creature of habit kind of guys, and I don't know how this type of atmosphere is going to affect anybody, but I mean, he's got he's a guy that concentrates on being focused all the time. And I think being inside a bubble without all those distractions is really going to help his game. I think he's going to have a strong performance. He's a guy that's used to playing in the spotlight, because in juniors and in the World Junior Championships, I mean, he was the guy, and he did really well when the spotlight was on him. So I think he's going to do well. B, they do have a good backup in Brian Elliott. It was a really smart move bringing him back. I think it kind of calmed the nerves under Carter Hart, because Hart knows it's his job now. Elliott's still a guy that can come in and win you some games, but Elliott's not a number one. If you hate to say it, but if Carter Hart does get hurt or something happens and he does lose his confidence, the Flyers are going to be in trouble, because Elliott can only do it for so long before something's going to break down there, whether it's physically or just he gets figured out. So, I mean, it's a nice tandem to have. I like the fact that I think they're just going to roll with Hart as much as they can. If he starts, he has a bad game, sure, they're going to pull him. They're going to put Elliott in there. But I think this is just Carter Hart's series to run with. I mean, it's going to be a compact kind of schedule. There's no travel or anything, but they're going to roll with the young guy for this for sure.
And that was great, because you answer another part of my question. If you think there's a leash on Hart, you don't think there is. And honestly, all the talk about being a shortened season and an asterisk on whoever wins it all, might as well let him run out now and see what he's got.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And every goalie has a leash. Like we just said, if a team's running up the score on them, they're going to pull them out. It's not so much to give the team a spark or something like that. It's just sometimes you just don't want your young guy to get embarrassed anymore. So you pull him out of the game. You let him refocus himself, and things will be fine. They bring like 4 goalies up there, so it's if they do get some practice time in there, they don't have to wear him out or anything like that. It's his show. They'll just go with him.
That's perfect. I'm excited to see it. I tend to bounce around on the show because I love getting the audience involved. So we're bouncing around subjects. I know we're not direct, but my man Austin, he runs his own podcast. It's called the Horror Night Podcast. He is a Washington fan. He said, I mean Capitals. But I want to ask you a question about the Capitals.
Sure.
A lot of talk about Alex Ovechkin possibly breaking Wayne Gretzky's goal record. Do you see that possible?
I actually find it a little more likely now that we know there's not going to be a labor strike anytime soon.
Right.
So this ensures that the rest of his career, there's no lockouts. However, we still don't know what's going to happen with this COVID thing. I mean, they're hoping to start the next season in January. It's going to be a real compact season. That doesn't bode well for older players. These guys like to have a few games off. I could see them resting him once in a while if the schedules are going to be that compact. So he did lose a dozen games at the end of this year, so that hurt a little bit. But I mean, it's a lot of goals he's got to get. I think he's going to get close, but I just don't know. I mean, you can look at it 2 ways. One, he's one of those guys that doesn't need to be this fast guy to score goals. He's going to sit in his office. He's going to wait for people to feed him the puck, and he's going to hammer it by the goalies. It's no secret what he does, and no one's been able to stop it yet. So he's got that going for him, where he can pump in a lot of goals for a lot of years. But it's just so many goals. I mean, 894 is it, or 896 is Gretzky's record? Something. It's almost 900, and he's just up to what, 700 now. So he's got a ways to go. So
I think they said he's like I think they said around 180 goals short, if I read correctly.
Yeah, I'd say it's about that. So I mean, that probably puts him at least 5 or 6 more years, which takes him into his 40s. I mean, depends how long he wants to play. I mean, we saw Jaromir Jagr play till he was, what, 46 in the NHL?
70.
Right, yeah. But you got to think, like, as slow as Jagr looked towards the end of his career, he was still in immaculate shape. So it shows you how fast the league is now. So if I had to put money on it, I'd say he probably doesn't get there because just too many things have to go right.
Sounds great. We root for him, and I hate to say it, but I became an Ovechkin fan when he won the cup and the way he celebrated and the class and the just excitement that he showed. And plus nowadays when everybody's on Crosby, us Flyers fans need another hero. So for me, it's Connor McDavid, it's Ovechkin, because I'm not going to, I refuse to ever give Crosby the crown of the best. I refuse. So.
Yeah, I mean, we all hate Crosby because of the close proximity to Pittsburgh, the rivalry, all those things. But I mean, if you ask anybody that plays hockey, you do have a respect for Crosby and the way he can just manage a game and the way he plays so tough on the puck and how he's so great on his backhand. I mean, there's just so many things you can pick away from his game that make him such a great player. You could say what you want about his attitude, the early parts of his career, how he'd whine a lot. But I mean, if you ask anybody that ever played with him, they all love him. He's a motivator. He's a lead by example kind of guy. I mean, he really is one of the best players in our generation.
All right, that's it from Mark, everybody. That's it from Mark, everybody. Say goodnight. I feel you there. Another question, getting back to the Flyers a little bit. I had a question asked about some of the young defensemen and where they're at. York and Farabee, O'Brien. How them guys coming along?
I mean, the more they play, the more they're going to be better. It's just, again, this situation, the AHL shut down. They didn't come back. So a lot of those guys that don't make the big teams are just not playing. And that's going to hurt everybody's development. I don't think anybody's in a good spot for that. No matter what team you look at in the league. So I think there could be some kind of weird learning curve we see maybe in the next year or so where we're not seeing as many young guys because of all this lost time. And, you just hope they're not forming bad habits. But overall, I mean, a lot of these guys were on track to be good players. I think we saw a lot of real good things with Joel Farabee this year. Yeah. I was hoping to see he is on the roster right now. So I'm hoping he does get to crack the roster. Maybe not right away, but maybe they find a place for him. The whole thing is you don't want him playing on your fourth line as just a guy that gets a shift every once in a while. You want him being you'd hope to be in your top 6, maybe even a third line guy, just so he's at least getting a regular shift. Maybe even throw him out on second power play a little bit to get the feel of it. Because these young guys have a hard time at just, if they're not playing shifts regularly, it's tough for them to get a feel for the game and adjust to it. So overall, I do like what we saw out of these guys. I think Morgan Frost kind of wowed us with what he could do right away. And then, he fell into a bit of a lull and he needed to get that work in, going down to the minors and learning that every shift isn't given. And sometimes you just need to drill that in the players' heads. So, I mean, I'm excited. I don't think there's any busts among those guys that you said or anything. I think they're all on a good trajectory.
Sounds great. Let's break it down. We got more topics to go, but let's get into the heart and soul. Let's get to the matchups. I'm going to admit I'm going to cheat and I'm going to look at ESPN for the matchups because I didn't write them down. I'm getting old and lazy, so my hand, doesn't work like it used to.
I wrote the matchups down too because I didn't know if you would have them, and I didn't want to be scrambling and just being like, "Who's that other Western Conference matchup?"
All right, so the games basically are Saturday and Sunday. To kick it
there's
off.
Going to be games on all day. It's going to be crazy for about 9 days in a row or so. There's just going to be games on all day. It's going to be a hockey nerd's dream.
I'm telling you, I'm pretty geeked for it. I don't think I have plans this weekend. I get the feeling I won't have plans this weekend. This is my plan. So let's start out. Let's start out east, and because every team here I'm dying to get rid of. We'll do this. We'll do this. So we'll actually go opposite of each other. This way, somebody comes out victorious over the other. So one of us is going to have to get a team we don't really want. Being the guest, you go first. I'll give you the Rangers and the Hurricanes.
All right. Well, how do you want it? You just want me to break down the whole thing, or am I picking a team, or?
Yeah, pick a team. Give us a little breakdown as the series, and pick your team. And I'll just pretty much pick my team because I can't break it down like you. So.
Okay. Well, you said Carolina or the Rangers. That's the first one we're doing? Okay. Yes. Yeah, this is one of the more intriguing matchups. I mean, the Rangers, like many of the other teams, weren't going to make the playoffs, it seemed like, although they were on an incredible hot streak at the end of the season. So you wonder if that was more of just them playing well against good competition, or maybe just playing some empty calorie games. You know, it's a lot easier to play when you don't have that pressure on you. So I think how hot the Rangers were was a little misleading. They do have an interesting situation in net. We all know Henrik Lundqvist has been the guy forever. Yeah. They have a good problem where they have a couple real young guys, Shesterkin and Georgiev, that have just been so good that
you even say the name's good.
That I think the leash on Henrik Lundqvist is going to be really, really short, especially in a five. These opening rounds that we're talking about are best of five.
Right. Thank you for sharing. Right. Thank you for that.
So you can't fall behind 2-0 in a series. It's just about over at that point. So I mean, real short leash on him. They do have some great scoring on that team with Artemi Panarin and Mika Zibanejad, two of the highest scoring guys in the league. Some questions on defense. The interesting thing with this series is I lean towards Carolina in this. I think they're a deeper team. The Rangers won. I don't know how many times they played. I had it written down earlier. I think it was 4 times. They won all 4 times against Carolina, or maybe it was only 3. However many it was, they swept the season series, which is really interesting. But I do love Carolina in this. They're a team not many people follow. They're one of those Sun Belt teams, but they have a good young offense. Guys like Sebastian Aho, Teuvo Teravainen. Their defense, they have one of the best shutdown guys in the league in Jacob Slavin, and just a really talented team that puts up good possession numbers. The thing that hurts them is their goaltending. You remember a guy named Peter Mrazek that we had here a few years ago?
Oh, yeah.
That's the guy. That's the guy. He's performed well there. I don't get it. I thought he was flawed in the way he played here. So I don't know. They do something really well in front of him that they suppress a lot of high danger shots. So overall, I do like Carolina to kind of squeak out of this matchup. I just not buying into the Rangers just yet.
All right, I could agree. I mean, like I said, in the interest of how the contest works, that sticks me with the Rangers, and that's okay. This used to be the home of Rangers Nation before it was the O Show, so we'll give the Rangers their due. I will start next on the next series. I'll go first here. It is the Canadiens and the Penguins. And I know the Penguins are, like I said, Sidney Crosby maybe starting to age a little bit. Injuries, the little nicks are banging them up. But to me, I think the Penguins run away with this thing. I don't like anything that Montreal does, even with good goaltending. I think it's Pittsburgh all the way. How do you say it?
I agree. I mean, we hate to root for the Penguins, but I mean, everybody's making such a big deal out of this. Like, 5-game series, Carey Price could steal it. If you look at Carey Price this year, he was 32nd in the league in save percentage and 31st in goals against average. I mean,
there's stats right there, people.
I just wrote my previews. I didn't run them yet.
Very nice.
But they're going up soon, so this isn't right off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, he's still a very good goalie, above average, but he's not the type of guy that I think is going to steal games for you. The Canadiens just give up way too many high danger chances, and you got skilled guys like Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Jake Gensel, who wasn't expected to be back for the playoffs, now is because of this layoff. I mean, he is a phenomenal young player, and they still have the Quist and some others that, the Penguins are still stacked. We
lost you a little bit there. You still with us? So wait a minute, we lost Mark temporarily. Right as he was getting ready to continue to praise the Pittsburgh Penguins. Wait a few minutes for him to come back. A little technical difficulty on Mark's end. We actually haven't even got Jewel back yet either. So the internet gods are not really in our favor this evening. But we'll have Mark back with us shortly. Let me just send him a quick message. Give him the skinny, give him the old Brandon Messon trick of bouncing out and coming back in. Mark will be back with us shortly, and we'll continue the hockey preview. He likes the Carolina Panthers so far over the Rangers. I know that hurts some of you people to say, but he does. And looks like we got Mark back. Mark, welcome back.
Hey, sorry about that. I don't know where I cut off there.
It happens. It happens sometimes. Like I said, when we had the studio, the goal was to do this in the studio. We're not back to the studio yet, so this is how we do it. And sometimes it freezes. We still haven't gotten Jewel back from 8 o'clock. So.
Okay. Did you get the part where I was saying you're like the best host ever on a talk show? Or
Of course, I heard that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Just making sure that part got through.
Yeah, that got through. So
no, I'm not sure where I trailed off there. But yeah, I just don't believe a whole lot in the Canadians.
Sounds good. You're getting him in this contest because I picked first.
Yeah,
But
that's fine.
I feel you. I definitely feel you. So the next one is all you again. Of course, let me get back to my chart as I lost there for a second. A matchup that I love because this one team I really think has more than people think. It's going to be the Florida Panthers and the New York Islanders, and I love this series, and I'm dying to hear a true blue hockey guy break this down.
Man, I was going back and forth on this one today. I think it's going to be a 5-game series. It's just, it's almost weird to say, but it could be one of those series that one of the teams sweeps, but I don't know which one it's going to be because they play such different styles. I mean, the Islanders, I know we have a Caps fan on here, so they have Coach Barry Trotz there now that won a cup with them in Washington. And, you know, he has been nothing short of amazing of what he's done with the team that, you know, just doesn't have a whole lot of star power on it. I mean, I guess that might be the team you're referring to that might have more than people think, but they're like a kind of like a lockdown team. And then Florida's the complete opposite. They just don't play defense, but they have a ton of high caliber players in Barkov and Huberdeau, Keith Yandel, Aaron Ekblad. And then you look at the goaltending, and they got Sergei Bobrovsky now, and they bring in a 3-time Stanley Cup winning coach in Joel Quenneville. So I was really going back and forth on it. I had Florida circled, and then I changed my mind. I went with the Islanders. I just think they're a tough team to play with.
I feel better. Actually, Florida is the team that I think that a lot of people kind of underscore. I think they've got a lot of talent. Not the massive names. I know, like, they try to make guys like Huberdeau a household name. It's not quite there. I like the Quenneville factor. I like the goaltending. Again, tough series. The fact you're taking the Islanders makes me worry, but I'm not really stuck with the Panthers because I like what I see here. So I think it's going to be maybe the best series of the first round.
Yeah, I probably should have let you pick that one because I could have taken either team and been happy about it. So
I was sitting there waiting with bated breath, and I'm like, I wonder where he's going to go. And then, you made my day. Thank you for that. Okay, make sure I'm all on qualifying games. I'll mess up. The last qualifying game looks to be Toronto and Columbus, which is another good series, interesting series.
Contrasting styles again, yeah.
Is it as close as people think? I'm first on this one, and I got to tell you, we talked about the talents in Toronto, but there's just something about that team that just rubs me the wrong way. But I'm also not a big Blue Jackets guy. I'm just going to throw – I'm going to flip the coin here, and I'm going to take the Blue Jackets, and I'm going to let you have Toronto, which you said is a dark horse team. What do you think about these two teams? Break it down a little bit if you don't mind.
All right. Well, my pick was Toronto, so we'll stay true to form on this one then. I do like Toronto in this series. I don't like them going very far in the playoffs, but they're the type of team that every year they seem to just bust out of the gates in the regular season, and they just lay waste to whoever they see the first few weeks. So I think that's going to play to their favor because this is basically like starting a new season here. So I think they're just too talented up front. with Matthews and Marner and Nylander, Tavares. They got a lot on the back now with I love the Jake Muzzin addition they made last year, I guess it was. He just brings a little more grit to the team than that they're lacking, because I think that's one of the things that rubs you the wrong way about the team is they're kind of soft to play against. And
Could be, right.
More a buzzsaw kind of team in Columbus that just, bloodies you up. So I just do think that they can put it together for a 5-game series. I think they have better goaltending with Freddie Anderson. Morgan Riley Tyson Barrie was starting to come around right towards the end there. I mean, this is a team that made a coaching change early in the season, getting rid of Babcock. They seem to right the ship under Keefe. So, I do like the way this team is trending, at least for a little while in the playoffs. I think they can get past Columbus, because Columbus ruined the surprise last year, in my opinion. They knocked out Tampa Bay, the top team, in 4 games. People are going to take them seriously this year. So
yeah,
I like Toronto.
And it makes sense. And that was a shocker. Like, I'm still stunned you picked the Blues, but the fact that Tampa got bounced so early was just – that's one of those moments. And, after we do this, I'm, of course, going to ask you, of all the teams, who you think the top dogs are that are on the bubble and who's your dark horse, et cetera. So we'll get to that one.
I don't want to sound like too much of a genius, because I believe last year I might have had Tampa in the finals against St. Louis. I'm really not sure, but I know I had them going far, like pretty much everybody did. I mean, that was such a shock. It was crazy.
It was amazing, and they're the team that every year they're how do they say, the bridesmaid, never the bride. Like, St. Louis always has a quality club. They're always in the running. They're always in the playoffs, but they never seem to get anywhere, and you never picked them to get anywhere. So when you came out with that last year, I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I'm like, what? I'm watching TV in shock.
I just like the song Gloria. That's all.
That's got to be it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's got to be it. My man Austin from Hard Night Podcast said the Leafs suck. Dude, everybody thinks the Leafs suck. Everybody thinks the Penguins suck. It's a given in the NHL, especially for a Capitals fan like yourself and us here in Philly. We like nobody but our own. Let's go out to the West a little bit. I'm a little gray with the West. Grayer than I should be. I was going to cheat and put a different matchup first because I wanted this one, but I'm going to give it to you. It's going to be Edmonton and Chicago.
Yeah, this is a slam dunk. Chicago stinks. The Oilers, they have 2 of the best players in the league, in McDavid and Draisaitl, and you could say all you want that they don't get enough secondary scoring. These guys put enough goals up for all the scoring. I mean, they're phenomenal. And add to that, they had the best power play in the league this year. They had the second best penalty kill. Chicago's going into this series. They traded away Robin Leonard, who's really good in goal for them this year. He's now in Vegas. Corey Crawford might not play now. So who's your third string goalie now that's going to go against McDavid and Draisaitl? I think it's Malcolm Subban, but I'm not quite sure. So it's not going to be pretty. I mean, Chicago's still got a little bit there that'll make it fun. Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews has had a nice resurgence. The Stanley Cups in the past don't help. It's just a completely new team, and this is Edmonton's time to really get going. McDavid looks unbelievable, even faster than in the regular season. I don't know what he's been doing during this layoff, but you're going to see just one of the best performances with 97.
Sounds great. I was going to cheat and put another matchup first because I love the Oilers here, but I'll take the Blackhawks and I'll just keep my fingers crossed. Can't win them all, and I already got that one disposed. Jets and Flames is our next matchup. For me, I've been a Jets guy the last couple of years with the improvements and the players. Calgary looked like they were making a move for a while. It seems like it got a little stagnant. I'm going with the Jets here. Record is about the same, 1 win difference, 1 point difference, but I'm a Jets guy here. What do you think on this one?
Okay, well, I'll pump your tires a little bit because the Jets I was looking at, one of the most underrated guys that no one talks about is Kyle Connor. 3 straight 30-goal seasons. He had 38 goals this year to lead the team. And he still doesn't get mentioned in the same breath as like your Patrick Laine's or your Mark Scheifele's, who are great players. But this is a guy that could really, make a run. The Jets had 5 guys with 25 goals on their team. And I was trying to I ran through some of the top teams in the league, and no one else had that. There may be a team further down. I just didn't get to look through everything, but that really caught my eye that they had 5 guys with 25 goals or more. They have an incredible goalie in Connor Hellebuck, who is a Vezina finalist. In my opinion, he should have been a Hart finalist. I mean, he was that good for this team.
Yeah.
The bad thing is they have their problems on defense. They lost Dustin Byfuglien to just didn't want to play anymore early in the season. Yeah. Jacob Trouba is no longer there. Like they really had to revamp their defense. Hellebuck made up for a lot of those mistakes. So they got a lot of good things going for them. And this was a coin flip for me. I honestly, today I was over babysitting my 3-year-old nephew, Ryan, and I asked him who he liked in this series, and he said the Flames. So that's who I was going with anyway. That's who's in my report. You're right. The Flames were one of those teams that they were coming on a little bit, but they struggled at times. I think they had like a 6-game losing streak immediately followed by like a 7-game winning streak or something along those lines, where it was just like, what team are we going to see here once everything rolls around? They do still have a lot of talent up front, though. Gaudreau, Monahan, Elias Lindholm. So I think they do have enough to get them past the Jets, but it's going to be really close. I am worried about their blue line. They lost Travis Hamonic. He's one of the guys that decided to opt out due to the COVID concerns. He has a daughter with some health concerns. It could greatly affect her if he was to contract that. So he opted out. He is one of their top 4 guys, I'd say, on the blue line. So that does hurt. It really hurts to lose defensemen this time of year. But I think that depth can still get them at least past the play-in round. So I do like the Flames. So we are at odds on this one.
All right. That sounds good. I like being at odds here.
Yeah.
The next one is your kickoff. Again, another good series. A team that I'm actually excited to watch because I didn't get to see much of them being on the West Coast. It's the Coyotes and the Predators.
Mm-hmm. This is another. I mean, a lot of the Western Conference ones, except for that Edmonton series, I really could go back and forth on. This one, I went with the upset. I like Arizona a little bit better in this series. Nashville, another team that fired their coach. They had Laviolette throughout, I'd say, halfway through the season. I know he coached them in the Winter Classic. I remember seeing that awesome jacket that he had.
Love Labs. He always has a great jacket, Labs. Oh,
yeah. So I think they fired him not long after that, and they weren't buried in the standings by any means at that point. They were maybe 3 or 4 points out of the playoffs. It did give them a little bit of a resurgence. They brought in, was it John Hines, the former Devils coach?
Yep.
It's made a little bit of a difference, but it's just one of those weird teams that I can't seem to trust anymore. You look at their stats, and you look at a team that has guys like Philip Forsberg and Arvidsson and Matt Duchene and Ryan Johansson, and the guy that leads the team in points by 17 points is the defenseman, Roman Josi. So, I mean, it says a couple things there that Josi really is that awesome, but it's like, what are these guys doing? And it's just one of those weird franchises that just can't seem to ever get a guy to score like 40 goals in a season. I don't even know if they ever have had a 40-goal scorer in Nashville. I know they've never had a 50. I'd be hard-pressed to think they even had a 40. It's really weird there. So I do like their defense. They got a couple, great guys back there, but the goaltending scares me again. Rene, he's good for a while, and then he just seems to fall apart. So I like what Arizona has. I mean, they're another team that doesn't have a whole lot of scoring, but a lot of it's because they brought in Taylor Hall late in the year. So I mean, he's an addition. You still got Phil Kessel. He had a bad year. But that's something that Arizona hasn't had in a long time. And they're just 2 guys that can just get you like an easy goal once in a while, where you don't have to completely grind and crash the net and, just bleed out a goal. You can snipe one once in a while. So I kind of like how Arizona's going. And, one of the guys that should have maybe been on our top 5 all-time Flyers list, Rick Tocchet, is their coach. And he gets a lot out of these guys. And I really like how he has this team trending. It's their first time in the playoffs since 2012. I'm going Coyotes. I think they're going to make a surprising little run here.
I like it. I'm going to go Preds. I'll take the Preds with a decent feeling inside. But yeah, Rick Tocchet didn't make the top 5 or 6, which is tough because the Flyers days of Rick Tocchet, the guy was a legend in this town.
All-time penalty leader for the Flyers, not Dave Schultz, as many people think.
Tocchet. And despite his gambling woes, we still love Rick Tocchet.
We still do.
The last,
Who doesn't like the game?
right. the last qualifier game is another one I like. 2 teams I like, not like big fans, but teams you kind of root for. You want to see them get ahead. And you mentioned one earlier, of course, the Vancouver Canucks and the Minnesota Wild. This is my time to start this. The Wild, again, you talk about teams that just don't seem to get there, don't quite seem to have what it takes to move ahead. And that's what I see in Minnesota. Like Vancouver, to win this series, I don't think they get very far. I think, like I said, it's an up-and-coming team with a lot to improve on, but I like them in this series. How do you break down this one?
Yeah, I mean, Vancouver's playing with house money. They're in a rebuild. Just a few years ago, they were at the bottom of the league and kind of like a laughing stock. And then, boy, what a couple guys like Elias Pettersson and Quinn Hughes can do to a team, because they're just infused with talent now. They already had Brock Besser and Bo Horvat. They bring in Tyler Toffoli around, late in the season there. So they're building around these guys. They're starting to form some depth. I really like this sneaky good team here. I don't know if they have that playoff experience that's so needed at this time of year. That could hurt them. They just don't seem to have the grizzled veterans that everyone else does. But they could be an exciting team. So there's another series I went back and forth on. I did put the Vancouver as my team in the playoff preview that I did for the South Philly Review. But I could also easily go with Minnesota. They're another team that just was not supposed to be good this year and surprised a lot of people. And they were making a run towards the end of the season. I don't know if they would have gotten there into the playoffs, but it was starting to get a little interesting. They still have some guys like Eric Stahl and Zach Parise, the grizzled veterans that we just said are not on Vancouver. They're all on the other squad with Ryan Suter and guys like that. So Minnesota played well. They played above their heads this year, and they could be a surprise team. I'd rather them lose and maybe win the draft lottery, because they could really use a number 1 draft pick to get that franchise in. Like, who's been their best player ever? Is it Mikko Koivu? He's great.
Right.
They've never had a stud guy on that team. And if they bring him in next year, and then they brought a guy in, they've had signed for a long time, but he was playing in the KHL. His name's Kirill Kaprizov. He's coming over next year, and he's dynamite. He leads that league in points, and he's that good. And they've been licking their chops about finally getting this guy over to the United States. So I think the future is bright for the Wild, but it's going to be a tough series for them now. But it should. I really think that's going to be a fun series to watch, though. I think there's enough talent there, enough veterans on it. Kind of a little contrast there. It's going to be fun.
I like it. There's a lot of great-looking first-round matchups, which really gets me excited. We're going to go down a list. Before we look at the teams, we're not really going to break down qualifying rounds. It's kind of silly because these teams get there. I will ask out of the 4 qualifying teams first. Let's start out with that. Of the 4 qualifying teams in the East, with Boston and Washington and Philly and oh my God, drew a blank. Tampa, sorry. Who do you like the most out of those 4? Who do you think, not really by play that ends up as the number 1 seed, but who do you think is the best overall team right now out of the round robin guys?
Well, see, that's an interesting way to pose the question, is who's the best team, because the best team might not always win these things. I mean,
right.
Especially I don't know how much the seeding means to these teams. Obviously, you don't want to finish last, because then you're going to get Pittsburgh. So you do want to finish top 3, but fighting over the first or the second seed, it doesn't really matter. You don't know who's going to win any of these other series. So I don't know what's to play for. So who's the best team on there? I know Boston was the top seed, but I still like Tampa. I think they've looked at times off this season, but they've really shown how dominant they can be at stretches. And I think if coming into the playoffs this year, knowing what happened last year, using that as a learning experience, I think that's going to really help them. It looks like Steven Stamkos, even though he didn't play in today's preseason game, is going to be ready for these qualifying round robin games or whatever. So you could look at how strong a team is down the middle and usually tell how good they are. And when you can line up Steven Stamkos, even though he does play wing sometimes, but he's the natural center. You have Braden Point, and then you have Anthony Cirelli, who should have been in the Selke conversation this year. I mean, that is about as strong as you can get down the middle. Norris Trophy, former Norris Trophy defenseman in Victor Hedman, surrounded by a good core of Ryan McDonough, Sergachev, the young guy, and a Vezina winning goalie in Andrei Vasilevsky. I mean, they have all the parts to be the best team in the league, and I'm kind of tipping my hand of who you may hear from me later on in some predictions, but I really, really like this team and what they can do. It's really just going to depend on what type of matchups they get moving forward. They run into a team like the Islanders. That could be like a weird kind of matchup, and they could fall again. But I think if you're going strength against strength and scoring, I don't think anybody can hang with Tampa.
I got to agree with that. I like what Tampa has. I like them more than Boston, and I agree that Boston had the better record. But there's just something about Tampa and the amount of talent it seems unbeatable. Like I said, the fact they got bounced last year just might have been more or less a brain fart of a team who just didn't put their hat on and say, "Hey, we got to get out there." Just figured we're going to coast, but the talent is immense.
It happens quick. I mean, you can look at it in hindsight. You know, you have a bad couple of games when you're the top team. And all of a sudden, you're going back to the other team's rank down 2-0, and it's hard to dig out of that. You know, like you gotta come with your work boots on in game one for those sort of things.
You know, I like that too. That's a good way of looking at it. Let's take a look at the teams in the West, and I'm going to kind of blow you away with who I like, and they're probably not going to get as far as I'd like them to. But you got the Stars, the Knights, the Blues, the Avalanche. Of course, the Blues are the defending champs. Knights won it a couple years ago. Who do you like as your, let's say, who the best team looks like in the West right now?
Well, best team in the West, I'd say, you know, you got to probably look at either the Blues or the Avalanche. The Avalanche do look pretty dominant up front. Once they get that big line going, man, they are hard to stop. I'm not in love with their defense beyond the young kid Cal McCarr, and you know, I don't even treat him like a rookie anymore. He just looks like that good in that season that he'll be fine. But beyond him, I don't see a whole lot. So I could see flaws in pretty much all these teams. The Blues, I don't know. It's so hard to do it again. But you throw in this weird layoff that they had. They've basically had 2 off seasons now since they've won a cup. So who knows if they're going to do it. I guess my surprise team is the Knights. I just love how Vegas has built their team the last 3 years. They were that good 2 years ago. They got screwed last year when in Game 7 when they were up 3 goals in the third period, and they had that wacky penalty, and San Jose scored 4 goals on the 5-minute major. I mean, it's just unbelievable. They're going to put a chip on their shoulder from that, you know, and you know, now you've had guys like Mark Stone and Paul Stastny have become, and Max Pacioretty, who is hoping to be healthy enough to pretty soon. They've made some incredible additions to this team in the past year and a half, and I just really like how the team's built. I think they're steady on defense with Shea Theodore, Nate Schmidt, guys like that, and then in goal, Marc-Andre Fleury. And if Fleury falters, you got Robin Lehner, who was fantastic with the Islanders last year, and he was very good with Chicago this year. So I mean, they have a good backup plan if things go wrong. I like the Knights. I think they're going to make a run this year.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I am all over the Avalanche. I was last year. I like the young talent. Like you said, they got the one big line, and you know, I guess it comes down to goaltending with a team like that and defense, like you said. But I like the Avalanche. I like what they put together. To me, I call them the best team in the West. I called them my dark horse team to get to the finals. We'll see. Let's get that real quick. Is there any team of the qualifiers that could be a dark horse that can make a cup run? Give me one team out of all of them do you think, has an outside chance. And just go either conference. You go East, West. One team out of all that group do you think has what it takes to make a run at the Stanley Cup?
Are you talking about the play-in teams or the teams?
Right, play-in teams. Right.
The play-in teams. Okay. In the East, I think Pittsburgh is definitely that strong. I mean, you hate to say it, but that team has played without either Crosby, Malkin, or Gensel pretty much all year. Like they never really had those three guys in the lineup at the same time. I mean, I remember Malkin got hurt the second game of the season and was out for about 6 weeks or so. And by the time he came back, I think him and Crosby played a couple games together, and then Crosby went down, and then Malkin carried the team, and he was playing with Gensel, and then Gensel went down, and he was done the rest of the season. So I don't know how many games they played together, but it wasn't many. That team can be really scary, and I think their goaltending, although people think Matt Murray's been a little shaky lately, their backup Tristan Jarry has been just as good. They got a lot of good guys on that team that don't get a whole lot of credit, especially on their blue line with like Dumoulin and Marino. They're just good shutdown players, and they just give teams a lot of trouble. So I definitely think Pittsburgh could be one of those teams to make a run. I'm trying to think in the if there's anybody else in the East. Just running down. Yeah, I don't really like a whole lot of those other teams to make a real big run. I mean, Carolina could maybe get hot and do something, but I don't see it too much. In the West, I like Edmonton just because of how top heavy they are, and the best players play their best at the biggest times of the year, and we'll see what these two guys can do, and if they can get a little bit of help. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had a very good season. Kyler Yamamoto has turned into a real nice young player to play with those top guys, and that's not an easy thing to do, is to play at McDavid's speed. And Yamamoto is one of those guys that can do it. So, they've got some decent guys on the blue line with Darnell Nurse and Oscar Klefbom. I mean, I don't know that they're a Stanley Cup winning team, but I see it. I see them. They could get hot and make a nice far run.
That sounds pretty good. Reminds us of the Oilers teams, early 2000s, the one that used to give like the Dallas Stars and all them such a great series with team speed and enough youth and some grit like Doug Weight and guys like that. That's what this Oilers team is starting to remind me of a little bit. And you mentioned Draisaitl and McDavid. It's heavy hitters right up front. So a team like that can make them some noise. I also like them as a dark horse.
Keep in mind also that these games, they're all in Edmonton. Edmonton's known as having some of the best ice surfaces in the league.
True.
McDavid, being a speed guy, gets to play on that every game. Yeah, that's going to help.
Sounds good. Sorry, we're just contacting Jewel, and Jewel's still having just a disaster of an evening. So before we get to the picks, we're going to pick the two teams we think makes it to the Cup. We're going to pick our Cup winner. I am going to ask you the fate of the Flyers. How far can and does the Flyers go?
I'm glad we got there. It's going to be interesting. I mean, you never know how a specific team's going to be after this layoff. But the Flyers played against Pittsburgh, even though it's just a preseason game. The juices do get flowing when you play against Pittsburgh. And kudos to the NHL for setting these rivalry games up where, Edmonton was playing Calgary and the Flyers were playing Pittsburgh, and Toronto was playing Montreal. Like, these teams hate each other. So it does get that intensity going a little bit. It's better than playing Carolina in a preseason game or something where no one cares. So it was a good sign to see the Flyers come out. They played really well. You could see some rust on both sides of teams, but overall, I thought they looked good. I feel like they're ready to go here, and I think they can make a run. Do I see them winning the Stanley Cup? Probably not, but I wouldn't rule it out. I mean, like, there's years, the last 3 times the Flyers have been in the playoffs against against Washington, against Pittsburgh, and maybe like the Rangers or something like that. They just went in as like the 7th or 8th seed, and you were hoping they were going to win a game or two. Like, you just didn't see them being able to compete with these teams. And it was like the games they won against Washington was like when Neuwirth made like 50-something saves against the Capitals and they won 1-0. Like that's what they had to do to win a game. Whereas now, like, you can see the Flyers are on the level with these other teams there. So if they can get things to go right, they're strong down the middle, as we talked about earlier with Couturier, and Kevin Hayes has been a fantastic addition to this team. Lawton, when he's playing center, sometimes he's playing the wing, but they're strong again down the middle. They're strong on defense. Ivan Provorov hasn't missed a beat. I mean, I know you mentioned him in your top 5. He just an amazing player, and he's been one of the guys that's had the benefit of skating during the time off. He was lucky enough to be staying at somewhere, like whoever he was staying with had like an ice rink, like a small, like he called it like a tennis court size ice rink, where he's at least able to get out there and skate. Sure. And people were asking him, have you been able to do your regular workouts or like your off-season training? He's like, well, no, I'm not doing my off-season training. That's usually 8 or 9 hours a day of skating. This I'm only doing like 4 or 5. So, I mean, God, he took the foot off the pedal, where he's only doing 5 hours of skating on his days off. But, he's a special player. And I'd really like to see the Flyers make a run for his sake, because I don't think that the league gives him enough credit for how good of a player he is. And this type of run could finally shine a spotlight on guys like him. And, a guy like Couturier is finally getting some recognition, but Carter Hart's another guy that could really, he could get some good exposure from a nice run. So I do think the Flyers have a lot. I think they can beat some teams, but it depends how things stack out. That if they have to run through like Pittsburgh, Tampa, and Boston all in a row, I don't see it. You're just not going to run through that gauntlet. So they need a few things to break for them here, and maybe catch a banged up team somewhere along the line, and it could happen.
I like it. I mean, I like that storybook of, do it for Oscar. And, Oscar, of course, coming back from cancer. You like seeing stories like that. You like the hope. I think it's a team that does have maybe a year or two to get the experience. I don't see him beating the big boys. Maybe Washington, maybe. But I don't see him outlasting Tampa or Boston. How
really well. Move, though, do you think that is of bringing Oscar Lindblom to not only be there with the team, but he's also on the roster? I mean, you tell me if you're down, 3 games to 2 in a series where things look like they're slipping away, and you bring him into play like Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Oh my God, is everybody going to skate through a wall that game to see him on the ice with them? Like, it's one thing to have him there, and that's great to be around the team. But can you imagine if he gets on the ice and plays like that? What a lift that'll be to the team.
Agreed. That'd be incredible. A quick one, yes or no, not to get too much involved, but are we going to see Nolan Patrick?
Not this year. No. I don't believe, I could double check, but I don't believe he's on their postseason roster. So it looks like they've shut him down for the year. I mean, no one knows what this kid's going through, but obviously it's something not good with these migraines that he's having. So he was out skating prior to the shutdown, and I'm not sure. I think he might have been out there skating with them before they left, but I'm not 100% sure. It might have been a no contact thing. I really don't remember. But it looks like they're just going to kind of use this year as a write-off. Hope for the best for next year. I mean, it does look at least like he's staying in shape. It's going to take a while for the speed of the game to come back to you after you miss that much time off. And it's going to be an interesting offseason because he's a restricted free agent. So, I mean, he's not going to go anywhere, but what kind of deal do you give a guy that you don't know if he's going to play or not? So, being this close to the cap. So this could be one of those, maybe they just give him a short little 1-year deal or, some type of bridge deal or something, because I wouldn't want to sit in those meetings.
Yeah, right.
That could go anyway.
Absolutely. So we're going to go with our predictions. We're going to.
Is that a good one-word answer for you?
Yeah, bro, excellent. That is very Mark Zimmaro one-word answer if I've ever heard. It's awesome. Yeah, that's why we love you, man, because you articulate it and you just make it sound great. And a lot of people have tuned in and out tonight and they're just loving your stuff. So again, we thank you as always. The finals prediction for me, I'm not going to jazz it up. I leave that to you. You jazz it up. I am riding with Tampa Bay this year. I think Tampa Bay comes back. You mentioned that chip on the shoulder with Las Vegas. I think Tampa plays this year with the chip on the shoulder, and talent gets together and realizes that it's their baby. And this is their thing to win, especially with coming back from this situation, they've got enough talent that I think they can make a run. The West, I am sticking with this Carolina Avalanche thing. I love it. I don't know why. I am madly in love with this young team. I like it, Tampa, Colorado. It may not be the popular thing amongst the big, broad cities, but me, Tampa, Colorado, Stanley Cup Final sounds exciting as hell. I see Tampa winning it all. That's my pick to win the whole thing. There's no way that Mark froze right there, right at the moment. Oh, there you are. I was going to say, no way we lost you right now. This is the moment.
Black smoke.
I know, right?
No, I mean, I kind of alluded to it earlier. I love Tampa Bay. I just think they're the most talented team up and down. So I'm with you. I think they're going to win the Stanley Cup this year. Like I said earlier, I just got a weird hunch with the Vegas Golden Knights. I'd like to see them back. I just love everything about them. It's by no means a slam dunk. I don't feel like great about it, but I just have a kind of a hunch. I could see Colorado. I could totally see St. Louis. Could maybe even see Edmonton. I'm not a big Dallas guy. They were too fluky for me, throughout the season. But
not to cut you off, but them and the Flyers are like the two of the top 4 teams we didn't really talk about to make noise. To me, the Stars just don't make the noise. So
they don't make the noise for me just yet. They kind of went a little too old for me by bringing in like Pavelski and Corey Perry and guys like that. And it's like, I kind of get it, but they can't be your main guys. When your main guys are already the guys that are aging, like Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin, the Corey Perrys and those guys are great to bring in like a Vancouver team, where you need that veteran leadership where you just don't have any. Like the Stars already had it. Like I don't get those moves. So I'm not a Dallas guy. So I'm going to roll with the Vegas Golden Knights. I think it's going to be it would probably be like a 6 or 7 game series too. But I love Tampa coming out ahead. I like Tampa. I like everything about them.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm with you there. I like their talent. I like their overall team. Obviously, it's hard to be a Tampa fan being a Flyer guy, but you got to like what they bring. Vegas, if they make it to the finals again this year, really boost up West Coast hockey, I feel. We know the Kings had their great run. They're starting to slug, but they're out there. Now we talk about Seattle. Now you talk about Vegas if they make another run. So maybe West Coast hockey starts to make a move. Maybe this is finally what West Coast hockey finally needs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is weird though, because we talked for years about the California trip being like the gauntlet of running through those teams. And then you look at where are those teams right now? They're all out of the playoffs. The Kings, the Ducks, and the Sharks all didn't qualify. There were 3 of the 7 teams that didn't make the playoffs, which is crazy. Yeah. But you'll see a resurgence of those teams real soon. I think it was more of a fluke for the Sharks, I think. And then the Ducks got a good farm system. They're going to be back. Kings could have a little lag for a little while, but I mean, West Coast hockey, from all those years of those teams being so good, it's big out there now. And the NHL's done a really good job to promote things. All goes back to Gretzky signing with the Kings all those years ago.
Way back when. And of course, like I said, Arizona, of course, is a team on the rise as well. So we both like Tampa. So I'm not going to give myself all that credit. If you get it right again this year, I'll kiss your ass next year when you come back on for preview. So check out the South Philly Review and the Northeast Time. You can check out the hockey writings of Mark Zimmaro. He's talked to a lot of the Flyer greats, and he just writes great stories. Mark, I know you got some family things going on. Prayers with you, buddy. We love you. We love your family. We thank you for coming on. You're a big fan. We're a big fan of yours here at the Yo Show, and we wish you the best. Mark Zimmaro, our hockey guru, ladies and gentlemen. Mark, thanks so much for coming on, dude. It was awesome. Can't wait to watch the games with you.
Thank you so much, and hope to play some poker soon, buddy.
Have some down for poker anytime, folks. Mark is as good at poker as he is at hockey because he breaks everything down so meticulously.
Look at this guy bluffing already. The guy that won the season championship, bluffing his butt off right now.
He sure did. He's bluffing to no end. Mark, again, thank you very much. Me and you will be in touch soon, and maybe after the season's over and we get a champion, we'll talk about what else is going on, and we'll get more feedback from you.
Sounds good. Take care, buddy.
All right, man. Have a great night. Thank you very much.
You too. See ya.
Bye-bye. That was Mark Zimmaro, everybody. And I tell you, when it comes to hockey and my beliefs in hockey, my love of hockey, he is the guy that I idol. He knows the players, he knows the teams, and obviously he broke it down for us terrific tonight here on the Yo Show. We thank Mark for coming on. We're excited for hockey. Mike Solomon, thank you very much. John Palmer, yes, we did say poker. And John, we're always looking for poker players. So, next time let's bring in John. We're going to be looking for players. Absolutely. We love poker. We love hockey. We love sports. I don't know what's going to happen with baseball. I'm interested to see what happens with basketball. Football, to me, is going to stop. I see it being a disaster. I can see how all that contact is going to lead to anything good in COVID. I forgot to ask Mark about the hockey shields that are talking about wearing full shields. And so we'll see what happens there. Austin, I thank you for that, breaking down football. I got a lot of guys on the chopper that are dying to break down football. So we might have to do a couple days worth. I might have to do specials, the whole 9 yards. Everybody loves talking football. So we'll see. Mike, I agree. Mike Solomon, that's my homie, has always been a great hockey guy. Mark is just a tremendous hockey guy. And like I said, when I asked him on last year, and he's like, I'm no expert. But to me, he's an expert. And like I said, he picked that win last year, and that's incredible. Me and him are both on Tampa. We didn't do it on purpose. I didn't rehearse. I just like what Tampa has this year. I like the Flyers. I'm going to root for the Flyers the whole way. I would like to be proven wrong. I like to come back on this show after the playoffs and say I was wrong. I say I got my Konechny. I got my Hextall. I got Gritty, who I knocked over. I got Gritty in the house. I knocked him over again. His financial value just plummets. I'm still drinking beer out of the Stanley Cup. So I think it's going good. So Jewel Tatey has just informed me that her computer glitches appear to be over, and she's going to come on. And I'll tell you what, if Jewel's down for it, we'll run an extra half hour because I miss Jewel Tatey. I wait all week for Jewel Tatey, as do most of our viewers. So we'll give Jewel a minute, and we'll play some music. I lied. We're not playing music. It's just the sound of me drinking beer, which I love to do, out of my Stanley Cup. Stanley Cup is like in the house tonight. It's here. It's here. Austin, I agree. Love Jewel. I love Jewel. We all love Jewel here. Jewel is the straw that steers the drink, as they say. My man. So Mark said, thanks for watching, guys. Continue to make the Yo Show your weekly spot. Greatly appreciated. Do come out to the Yo Show because we talk about all kind of great stuff. We cover entertainment and sports, movies, music. We do it all, and we do it all with just a lot of fun. We drink some beers. We shoot the shit. We curse. Pretty much I talk to Jewel like a buddy on the street corner. We get along real good. Of course, when I was a young guy hanging out on the street corner, I didn't have hot friends like Jewel. So I can finish my beer again while I wait for her to show up. When Jewel does come in, it is time for everybody's favorite weekly segment. It is going to be Jeff's Man Cave scores. That's right. We're going to see what I was out hunting for and what kind of great scores I got in my man cave. But let me do this again before Jewel comes on because I want to keep pressing this point. I want to let everybody know out there that is watching that Friday night, 7 o'clock, at the Newtown Athletic Club. You see the listing right there. Loso Brewing Company and the Kirko Band. They'll team up for a huge Loso Brewing Company event at the Newtown Athletic Club, 120 Pheasant Run in Newtown, Pennsylvania. The Hazy Dragon, a 6% New England style hazy IPA will be on tap. And there will also be samples of their other great beers, Lola, which is a local ale, watermelon wheat, and, of course, the double IPA, Sword and Stone. Free samples will be given out. Free merchandise will be given out as well. T-shirt contest and a whole lot of great stuff. The Loso tent will be there. Check out the guys from Loso Brewing. They will be there at the Newtown Athletic Club. And music, of course, by the great Kirko Band. Kevin Michael Kirk was on earlier watching the show. He's a big fan of ours. We're a big fan of his. We love him. And it'll be Friday night from 7 to 11, 120 Pheasant Run in Newtown, PA. Loso and Kirko teaming up to take over the NAC, as they call it. Be on the lookout for some of the great beers and show you some of the photographs. I know what you're looking for here. Of course, there is the Hazy Dragon, the New England style IPA, Lola, which is the local ale, basic ale. Sword and Stone, the double IPA. Terrific double IPA as well. And last but not least, of course, the Woodland West Watermelon Wheat. Very exciting. Can't wait for this event. And speaking of things that we can't wait for, that we waited all night for, the co-hostess with the mostest, once again, everybody, the sister from another mister, the beautiful, the amazing, the lovely, the greatest co-host in the history of webcast, podcast, and radio. Jewel Tatey. Hi.
Hi, are you echoing?
Yes.
God damn it. I'm so sorry.
That is okay.
Still not working.
Real quick.
Yeah.
While you're here, I did promise you a surprise, and I want you to have the surprise right now. Before we do the man cave discovery, for your woman cave, your favorite, Dave Batista.
Get the hell out of here. That's fun.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Oh my God, my sister's gonna be so jealous. That's awesome.
I know you're a big fan. I found it this weekend while I was hunting, and I said I absolutely positively have to put that for you. Had to.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Thank you. And you know I'm gonna get you. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, let me see. Look at this.
Ah!
I gotta show you Joey too. She's got, but yep, I got Yosho tank top. So if you guys want one, send us a message and we'll get you one. Send us your size and we'll bill you.
We will bill you. We also have Yosho t-shirts coming up. Looks great, Joel. So if we can get you there this Friday, I have a lot of merchandise for you. Batista, the calendar, the CD. I got
yeah. Even the Lilith of the Night. I still don't get that. What the hell? Look at this. Look at this shit. It's still loading. I'm so sorry.
That's
I've
okay.
been sitting here listening. Mark was so great. Thank you, Mark, for being a part of it and sharing your insight. Special guy, and we appreciate you. And I'm so sorry. This was not on purpose. I know people think it's sports night. I'm going to bail out.
No, I know you have. And I know you from the last time we had Mark on. You get in. You had the questions ready. We had Flyers questions ready. You were loaded. It happens.
I did. What the hell? What the hell is happening? Are you still echoing, or are we good?
I'm closer to being on time. I lower the volume a little bit so you don't hear me screaming quite as much.
All right. Let me know if you want me to. I'm still trying.
That's okay. I will run down real quick my man cave find. Real quickly, another, not a duplicate. It is yet another Kurt Cobain. This is the pink guitar, Hot Topics Express.
Well, that's cool.
Former Miami Dolphin quarterback great, Mr. Dan Marino.
Oh, shit.
Oh, lovely. We got a lot this week. Han Solo, Frozen, and Carbonite. Look at that. For your Star Wars fans.
Dude, that's amazing.
Han Solo. Two more. I did finally get into the Motley Crue Rage. I know they were expensive, but I managed to get Mick Mars from Motley Crue.
Huh.
And the best one, the Chase figure, the rare. From Happy Gilmore, it's Chubbs.
Chubbs!
If you look closely, it's Chubbs with the broken fingers.
I'll see you, Happy.
It's actually what they call the Chase, the rare one. He's got his fingers broken. Absolutely great.
Oh my God. I was going to show you. I have a cool Wonder Woman one at work. And to bring it in. It's like an ultra rare. It's black and white. And she's like standing on a rock. Her hair's blowing. That's pretty cool. I have to put it in my bag so I remember.
Absolutely.
I want to like show off the shirt though. I'm so depressed. I want to talk to Mark. You did a great job though. That was awesome.
Makes me feel any better. Our man Austin from Horror Night Podcast says it looks great on you, Jewel. I agree, it does. It's a terrific shirt.
I'm so excited for his show.
Absolutely. He's got Clint Howard coming on his show this week.
That's awesome.
That's great stuff. And he's excited to have you as well. Little podcast cross promote that we do here. And Austin's a good fan of our show. We're going to check out his show. Matter of fact, our Jewel Katie will be on Horror Night as a guest. I'll keep you posted. You'll see the advertisement as that comes close. We're very excited.
Hell yeah. I'm super excited. I love anything Halloween, horror, true crime, documentaries. I'm in it. I'm here for it.
Conspiracy theories.
Yes. All of that.
All right. Let's see. Next week on our program, we have a very special guest next week. A local Philadelphia talent, a terrific actor, a beautiful woman, outgoing and lovely. Whoop, what happened?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So next week we will be joined by Donna DiGregorio.
Yay!
Yeah, we're very excited. Donna recently did a film with Billy Crystal. That's great stuff. And she's doing some theater. So we're going to catch up on all that stuff. She's going to advertise some upcoming plays and musicals she has going on. She's tremendous. She's a sweetheart. We've had some great conversations. Very excited to finally get her on the show. That'll be next week, Donna DiGregorio. Very excited.
Amazing. Good find, Jeff.
Thank you very much. That's how we do it here.
I guess because my Facebook is loading, so there might be hope that we could salvage this episode with me on it.
Excellent, because I hate hearing my voice in the background.
So sorry. I've been there, and it freaking sucks.
We did good. Mark picked your stand up for you. He's great. He's an excellent hockey guy. And he brought a great crowd, and a lot of people were very excited to hear him and see his thing. And Austin, you got to get in the Phillies team, man. Donna DiGregorio is huge here in Philly. She's a great actress. You're going to love her next week. Trust me.
Yes. All
Got to
right.
get her a yo show, too.
Well, that's what we plan to do. We plan to send these out to all of our fantastic guests, and hopefully they model them on their social media pages.
Oh, please. Brianna
Just gonna cut holes in them before we say.
Yeah, there you go. Brianna's begging for her shirt.
Oh my God! Well, she pulled it out way more better than I could.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got more TNA than I do. Let's just say that.
She's got more TNA than many people combined. Your calendar, so you got a calendar, you got a CD, you got your Batista. It's like you're moving in.
It's like Christmas.
It is like Christmas.
So excited. Oh, yes.
I had to get that for you. It was like the find of the weekend. I found it on Sunday, and I was just like, wow.
And it's him, right? Like it's him as the wrestler dude.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love drag.
I'll give you another glimpse. He's all sexy with his dad. His little short shorts on.
I feel like I have to get Star-Lord too, because I did see Chris Pratt in Nashville last year, and that was amazing.
That's right. I remember that. That was pretty awesome. That was kind of like a whim. Like he just stood up and played, right?
Unbelievable. I mean, yeah, first bar I walk into in Nashville, and I'm pissed because I just want some barbecue food, and I go into a bar and they only have hamburgers and hot dogs. Oh my God, it's working. I might be able to be good in a second. So I'm ready to walk out of the bar. It was Rob's Western World on the Strip, if anyone's been there. And I'm walking out, and this dude jumps on stage, and he's so tall, and he's wearing a hat. And he's like, all right, I'm going to sing some Johnny Cash for you. I'm like, hold on a minute. My eyes are bad, and the bar was really big. Like, the stage was all the way up at the front door. I'm like, no. Hell no. And it was. And I found out it was Chris Pratt, and I haven't eaten all day. When I don't eat, I get like very shaky. Low blood sugar. So I'm like, I whip out my phone, and my phone starts shaking all over the place, right? I'm like, holy shit. Freaking Chris Pratt.
Wow.
He's a megastar. Come on, man. Guardians of the Galaxy, Jurassic Park. And I just got done watching when I went Parks and Rec, and he's super funny in that. And yeah, love Chris Pratt.
That would be kind of like Megan on stage, right?
What's that?
That would be kind of like Megan on stage, right? Like a mega.
Oh my god, I freak out. Like, you. Your show.
So,
Come on, work.
well, I can
Say a prayer.
stop my echoing. I'll let you hit us with your top 5 Flyers. And I'll just say,
Oh, we're still doing that? All right.
we don't have to. We can bag it.
No, it's good.
Okay.
So my sister was obsessed with the Flyers when I was a little tyke in the 90s. Holy shit, this might work, Jeff. And so when I was little, I have like pictures of me in a full Flyers getup, 80s headband, and I could name every single Flyer and their number when I was like 2 years old. She stalked the Flyers. She went to like golf outings, and we always went to the Flyers Carnival. Like, Flyers was huge in my family. And when I was little, I would go to the games and carnivals with her, the Flyers Carnival. And I would play with Ron Hextall's kids.
That's awesome.
And yeah, my dad would talk to him. Like, my dad was big into it. All right, I'm connecting to StreamYard now. So Ron Hextall is always my number one. And he's 27. Me and my sister's birthdays are on the 27th. So, and yours.
Yeah.
So that was always my number. He was always my dude. So he was number one. I'm going to go backwards. Talkett, she was obsessed with too. And he's just, great at everything. He's great now. He was great then. And so he's my number 2. Lindros came to my grade school, and he was piano man. I always thought it was cool. He was 88, and he was just like they were our heroes growing up. The Flyers that time, and the Phillies. Mike Schmidt was my dude. So Lindros came to my school, and I was like, oh my god, he's awesome. 4, I had to put a Broad Street Bully on there. And the toughest dude was Schultz, right?
Oh yeah.
So he's my number 4, and damn. All right, I'm gonna. I think I messed up my facts. Damn, that's not right. Okay, I'll end it there. But I did grow up. I played ice hockey. I love the Flyers because I am a Philly girl. But I'm not too good at stats, so I'm glad you handled all that talk tonight without me. I probably wouldn't have been a big help.
It's hard keeping up with Mark. It's like he names Russian players better than the Russian players. Like,
yeah, But I'll play with you guys. We just start a little. I don't know. I'm good on ice skates.
Really, I'm horrible on ice skates.
Oh, I'll spray in the face with ice.
Probably laying on my ass.
I took this. You had to take electives in college, like so many.
You took
hockey.
hockey.
You had to take like a gym of some sort. So my roommate Jess, she did snowboarding, and a lot of people did like ballroom dancing because it was an easy A, but it was kind of hard, 3 days of ballroom dancing.
Sure.
Kind of witchy and cheap. It's like Dancing with the Stars. That's why all those celebrities, do that shit. So I, played hockey for a season when I was like 10. But I always loved it. I always enjoyed ice skating. There she is. Come out, show everyone your shirt. Look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, baby. Look at that. Yo-show.
If you want this Yo-show merch, comment down below.
Comment down below. We'll hook you up.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. We have pretty colors.
Yeah.
You got Doritos on your face.
No, that's
Thank you so much. Isn't that cool? So yeah, the t-shirts have different colors. The tank tops are only black and white. But oh, that's cute.
Looks terrific.
Oh wait, am I in the studio now? Holy shit, the studio is loading. Finally. Let's
We're
see.
getting there.
Almost.
We'll wait a moment or two and bring you in just not to hear myself back up. I realize just how bad the sound of my voice is.
Oh, because you can hear yourself. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I'm gonna whisper now.
I'm gonna whisper.
So are we going to extra half or what?
Sure.
All right. I'm so sorry. This is
Okay.
all day. It's been technology problems.
You're watching a new show on the Stoop Radio Network.
Oh, so what was I saying?
Oh,
Oh, so
God.
power skating was the elective I took. And I tell you what, it was split, like half were on hockey skate. It was a big class, like 40 people, and half guys, half girls, and most of the girls did figure skates. Most of the boys did hockey skates. There was like one boy who had figure skates, and like me and one other girl who had hockey skates. So I don't want a toe pick. Like I know how to skate and hockey skate, so that's what I did. So they taught us everything. I mean, I could jump. Jeff, I'm in. I'm gonna try to wait. Can I do this at once? I might have to exit here.
Yeah, we'll get the computer version, get you in, and then drop the phone.
On the microphone. On the microphone. Start cam. Let's see if this works. You know what it was? My niece downloaded this movie on my phone or my computer. So I swear that messed
I get you.
so technology not savvy.
No. It's the one drawback of the Yo Show. It's why we thank our viewers so very much.
Come on. Who's there?
Okay. It's gonna go upstairs and get a pillow and some blankets and just wake me when you're in.
Talk about something else. Oh, you know what I want to talk about?
Go ahead.
So I listen to Preston and Steve in the morning usually. It's number one Philly morning show. Let's not hate. And you know, I feel like we have some great content. And for the last 2 days, first of all, they're taking every Monday off in the summer because they have so many accumulated days that they have to take every Monday off. So they have 4-day work week. So you would think they will come back big and strong, right? They've been talking about food for the past 2 days. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, every time I turn on, like, I like to hear different things, you know, get different ideas about maybe what we can talk about and what's happening in our fine city. Food. And they were on Fox 29 this morning, and they said, you know what? During this quarantine, you either become a hunk, a chunk, or a drunk.
That's all they got?
I mean, they were all sitting there, and they look kind of awkward. Like, talking about food. No, it was pretty funny, though.
We just pulled off this amazing hour and 55-minute hockey preview show, and they're talking about food.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird.
Very weird.
I like
So,
Jackson's local shots, though. We've had some people on that were on Jackson's local shots, so give them props.
Yeah, we do pretty good.
Or anyone that supports local music, I'm here for. I'm all about. It's good stuff.
Agreed.
This freaking thing.
Jill Teddy, ladies and gentlemen.
Staring at a bluebird.
But I understand if the studio's loading, like what happened?
It's loading, and then StreamYard fully loaded, and then my microphone and camera didn't work. It's like, oh, do you want to enter the studio without a microphone and camera? No, you jackass. I kind of need that.
Joel Teddy telling the people at StreamYard exactly where to go.
Come on, StreamYard, get your shit together.
We are StreamYard's #1 rated show in Bucks County.
I love you. I love you. Please work. Please work.
I live in StreamYard.
Good Lord. Here we go. Wear earbuds if you experience audio echoes.
Very
They're here now. Come on. What are you drinking, Jeff?
Beer. I can't say what
He doesn't want to talk.
No, I can't say what beer I'm drinking this week because I just hyped up my beer event Friday, so I can't give anybody else credit tonight.
So just say it's your beer.
Oh yeah, it's Loso watermelon, Woodland West watermelon wheat.
Woodland West watermelon wheat.
Mm-hmm. Available this Friday at the Newtown Athletic Club.
I swear to God, I live in Montgomery County and my ice melted in my drink. Ice tastes funky. What the freak?
Don't get funky. I can't believe that you're not loading.
I swear, so I'm on settings.
This has been the best last half hour of webcasting in history.
Hello.
I could
Shut
write
up.
like no handlebars. No handlebars. Loading. So while you're loading, I want to get your opinion on the new trend that's going on, the hashtag women supporting women with the black and white photos, sharing each other, supporting each other and their work. Tell us a little something about it. There's like any woman out there do you want to promote for their great work?
I mean, maybe someone can nominate me. I don't know. I haven't been nominated, but I would fully accept the challenge. I love it. I've seen so many strong, beautiful, hardworking women doing the damn thing on there. And a couple that I saw were Kiyomi Hawley, who's been a guest, Sharon Blinn, Bald is Beautiful, my cousin Jessica Barth. She has her Voices in Action. Voices in Action is dedicated to the Me Too movement and helping out victims and giving them a safe place to talk and, conversate with each other. All are welcome. So she is moving on strong with that. And I'm very proud of her. It's just everyone, all the moms, all the, moms, especially going through this time with school and everything. I kind of had a mini meltdown today with school because it looks like Pennsylvania is going to be all virtual, and it's just going to be near impossible to do what they're asking us to do. Even with help, even with daycare, it's going to be tough. So all the women, even if you're just stuck and feeling the mental anguish that we're all going through, I so salute you. I'm here with you. But, I feel it's important. It's been a big year for so many people, and I feel like now's the time. Now's the time we can sit at home and figure out what's exactly important. this is just another way to celebrate all the great females out there. So I think it's good.
Agreed. I found it to be wonderful. I definitely wanted to bring it up to you when I saw it. It's terrific. I mean, and some people joke like, guys don't need to do shit like that. Maybe guys need to. Maybe guys need to pump up other guys, and people need to pump up other people. And just,
Why not?
right, enjoy the success and enjoy what people are doing. Instead of always being envious, enjoy it. Praise people for their work.
And, guys are speaking out more so than ever about their feelings because they've just been, hardwired and programmed to not express feelings. And it's just, you see the kind of mental strain it causes, and it's just so not healthy. So, I mean, there's so many outlets today, especially with online and social media, like there's always someone to talk to. So you should never feel alone. I know it's not the same as being in person, but it's the best we have right now. And I mean, this is like my not my therapy, but my break time. I get to express myself creatively and talk to creative people, like-minded people, and you just have to find that outlet in your life, whether that's, I don't know, having a pet or talking to someone about issues. Like it could be that range of things. So yeah, don't be afraid to express your feelings, or don't keep that shit bottled up because it's just not good. Not good for yourself.
Agreed.
Shit.
So we can go two ways here. We're at about the 10 o'clock mark. We usually call it. We can call it a night, or we can wait for your computer. It's your call.
Let's try one more time. It
Okay.
is loading.
All right.
Tell me to check my lighting. My lighting's pretty horrible right now. So.
Nah, you look terrific. We're always happy to have you. Real quick, tell us about, or how you feel about, the Miami Marlins coming to Philly and everybody having COVID.
Holy shit. Well, I did go to the Marlins game last year, and yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, what, they were partying?
In Atlanta, apparently, before they came.
Yeah, they weren't following the rules. You got to follow the rules. I don't know. When you're under, I mean, if you want to do your job, you got to stay quarantined, I guess. People are locked up. So you have the opportunity to make millions of dollars playing baseball. You better goddamn well just do your job if you want to feed your family.
Right?
So, yeah, I mean, they almost ruined it for, like, everyone. I mean, they probably did ruin it for everyone.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Oh, for coming back from this one. I mean, they're still playing. Miami has lost about a week worth of games. I don't know how it's even going to play out.
It's not. I just don't see it playing out. I don't see that playing out. I hope the NHL just keeps up with their cleanliness and their safety guidelines, and they all fare well. We would love to see more hockey. I don't see school coming back until January. These are my predictions.
Why not? We were predicting all night long here.
Yeah, it's weird and it's sad, and we just have to get through it. I mean, this is go on for like years, people. It's freaking scary.
God, don't tell me that.
Sad but true.
I agree. Big thanks to Kevin Michael Kirk for sharing. So check out my brother Jeff Perini on the Scoop Radio Network, my man. We're going to see him Friday. You're going to get a chance to maybe meet in person the great Jewel Tatey if you make your way out to.
I really, really hope I can make it. I hope it doesn't rain either. It's really supposed to like downpour Friday too.
They
So
got arrangements to be undercover, so
okay, good.
we'll make
It's a very, very cool hip place.
it's hip.
It's where it's at.
It's where it's at. It's the place to be.
And it'll be a great time. Why don't you check it out? Oh no, man. I tried. It's still not letting me. I'm on StreamYard and it's not letting me use my camera now.
Weird.
I'm gonna have to buy a computer this week. That's just what it's come to. So if you want to donate to my computer, just
Go to OnlyFans and check out Family Jewel Katie on OnlyFans.
go fund.
Remember how many people are heading to OnlyFans right now?
Oh my God! You know I wanted to tell you. So, oh God, I don't even know if I want to say it. But I was doing our analytics on YouTube and seeing like the viewers and everything because there's a way to like sell these shirts on YouTube, so it can make it easy. Everyone could just click a button and buy a Yo-Show T-shirt or a hoodie for their dog or a face mask.
Like it's just
And I was looking where people go to like find our show, and I guess this is from Brianna. It had to be, I guess, because. But one of the sites was thoughtbot.com.
oh, sorry, what?
Who the freak is going to thoughtbot.com to search for the Yo Show? I had to be looking for some hot chicks, and she was like the hottest shit we had on here. So I don't
Sheesh. You had a disappointment tonight coming in and seeing like me and Mark all night. Yeah, I heard there's hot chicks on this Yo Show.
It's a totally different site.
It's some old man in a hockey jersey.
Y'all are thirsty. Oh my God.
That is easily the funniest thing I've heard all night. Oh my God.
So just look us up on thoughtbot.com.
First of all, you said like datbutt.com, like butt. I'm like, oh, I can get that.
It could have been way worse. Let's just be grateful it was just that. Or else I wouldn't have said it.
Good point. Very, very good point.
Oy, oy.
Could have been like hugesalons.org or something.
All Philly hoes. Do.
I can't even hold my hair back.
Oh, geez.
So I guess your computer is just not really intrigued at how you do the show tonight.
I sure got. Look at it.
And she's gone. She's turned around to let me look at the screen, and it's gone. Jewel Tatey, ladies and gentlemen, the co-hostess, the absolute most. She's terrific. She'll be back with us next Wednesday night, as will our guest, Donna DiGregorio, terrific local actress. A big thanks to Mark Zimmaro. Austin Wood just informed us his sister has COVID. She's a nurse, so we wish her to get well, as you do, Austin. The COVID thing, it is serious. Let's take it serious. I know we joke around here and there, but let's take it serious, and let's of course hope your sister recovers. And anybody else out there who thinks they have symptoms, get checked. Don't play around. Everybody be safe out there, because we want to get back to normal, and we can, but it takes responsibility. And if everybody's responsible, we can get back. Once again, a huge thanks to tonight's guest, our NHL expert, Mark Zimmaro. We talked hockey most of the night. It was outstanding. With thanks to Jewel Tatey for her excellent efforts. Her computer just wasn't letting her have it tonight. That's okay. We will come back next Wednesday at the same time, 8 o'clock, with local actress Donna DiGregorio. One more time, I'm going to hit you with this. I don't want you to forget, so I'm going to throw it at you one more time. This Friday night, the Newtown Athletic Club, Loso Brewing Company, and the Kirko Band will be there. It is a Loso Kirko takeover. Lots of great Loso beer available. The Hazy Dragon will be on tap. It is a New England IPA. Also, samples of Lola, the local ale. Woodland West Watermelon Wheat is our watermelon flavored beer. And of course, Sword and Stone, our double IPA. Should be great. Should be a great night. Danak is a great place. Rain or shine, folks. They will be setting up the outdoor tent underneath the bar in case it happens to rain. So that'll be available. We will be there no matter what, come hook or come crook. Thank you for everybody tonight for tuning in. I'm Jeff the Shark Marini for Jewel Tatey. We will see you next Wednesday night. I'm sorry I'm bringing up the theme song now. Talk to you next week. Have a great evening, everybody, from your friends here at The Yo Show. See you next Wednesday. Good night from The Yo Show.